All right, everybody, welcome to Off the Rails episode, I believe, number 12 here, back at CrossFit Taylors. It's been a big week here at the gym with Bring a Friend Week as we were just kind of getting into. So, another guest today being Karen. Cam, I will let you take over from here.
Yeah. So we have Karen Arthur with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really remember how long you've been here. I didn't look at it.
3 years.
Okay.
3 years in May.
I do remember very specifically, though, our first kind of interaction via email. And I remember you set up foundations, or you wanted to come to foundations.
Yeah.
And then something happened and you couldn't make it.
Okay.
And we had to reschedule it. And you're like, but I promise I'm not a Karen or something like that. You're like,
Okay, I don't even remember that.
No, I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
Everybody I meet says that I am the least Karen that they know. So.
And it was true. It was very true.
It holds up.
So yeah, we ended up doing foundations. That was back when we did the 2 hours at a time on like a Saturday or something.
Yeah, just like a one-on-one.
But yeah, I think might be the first person I did a one-on-one with on like a Thursday, I think.
I don't know what day it was, but I will tell you, coming here today literally felt like going there that first day.
Oh
like,
boy!
Here for this, I was like,
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Yeah. The first day that I showed up for CrossFit, what I remember doing is like waking up, having breakfast, walking my dog, and like putzing around the house for an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And that's how it feels for this. I'm like, okay, here I am.
You show up and work out, and today we're gonna show up and talk.
But yeah, we did foundations at the old gym and everything with the PVC pipe. Whole new language. And then, you show up to the next class and you're like, do a snatch. And you're like, I don't remember what that is.
I don't remember any of this. Yeah. No, I just remember that. And I remember laughing and being like literally reading the email and laughing and be like, well, I guess that's a good thing. But I mean, no, you've been awesome. Yeah. 3 years is a long time. We've gone through some things, injury wise lately.
Yes,
but we're sticking in there. We're getting back to it.
Sticking in there.
It's been good.
My first workout was a Saturday workout because those were free, and I did it with Sonia.
Yeah. What made you come to CrossFit Taylors?
It was actually my friend Sybil Crane.
Yeah.
She goes to CrossFit Greer, and she said I would like the vibe here. But I guess backing up history, like I've always worked out. I went to Pivotal Fitness from like 2009 until 2014. That was when Josh was born. When I had him, I ended up having a little bit of postpartum depression. And so I started working out at home because I couldn't like bring all three kids there because I was like stressed out and freaking out. So I did, I don't know if you're familiar with like Beachbody stuff, like P90X.
Yeah.
So I started doing all that P90X, Shaun T stuff. And then we did a lot of like hiking with the kids on our back. So hiking with 30-pound kids on your back and backpacking and all that.
Basically rucking these days is what they call
it. Basically.
Rucking, if you will.
So 2014, when I started working out at home, we started building our home gym. So like every year for Christmas, I would ask for weights or a rig or whatever. And then 2020, everybody was home. And everything just kind of fell to shit. Like we're all home. The kids were all there. There was no routine. There was nothing. And then I'd say it was about 2021, I had long COVID, and I decided I needed to do something more, like running or whatever. Found out I had asthma. So Sybil, she's a nurse, and she worked a lot in the ICU during all that, and so she like would come pick me up and like take me for walks and make me breathe and do this stuff. She's like, "You're fine."
That's okay.
But she had me come to her house and do some like CrossFit style workouts because she has it all set up there.
Yeah.
And then I did a Sunday class with her at CrossFit Greer. And then she's like, I think you should try Taylor. She's like, I think you would like the vibe, the people, the whatever.
Yeah, because they were coming. She was coming, and I mean, she still comes occasionally. But there was like a group that were coming on Saturdays.
Yeah, her and her husband for sure, Nate. Yeah, they both come.
I think it was because our class was later.
Probably.
there was like a group of CrossFit Greer people that were like, yeah, we don't like to get up early and we just want to come over here because it's later. And I was like, that's fine. Like, come join us. Yeah. Sybil's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I did. So I came, and on that first day, I met Sonia and Tiffany Bynum.
Yeah.
And she's a speech therapist too. And so I was like, oh, they're normal people. I was like a nurse and a speech therapist. Like, nothing to be afraid of.
Wait a second.
Yet I was so afraid.
Yeah. It is. It's interesting, and I can't really think back to like my first CrossFit experience, if I was that nervous or not. I mean, I was in college and I just kind of wanted to go work out. I would assume that I was.
Yeah.
I do remember like having to call like a number on the door because they were like, if you want to do this, like call, because they had
Really?
just opened.
Okay.
And they didn't even have like class times because they were like, we're not going to go sit there if no one's like going to show up. So it's kind of like schedule your own class type of thing. But it is like there's so many people, and I think that's why it's on our website of like the hardest part is like walking in the door because like you build it up in your head of like it's this crazy scary thing. But then you get here and you do it, and it's like, wait. And it might be like nerve wracking the whole time, but I feel like after you left, was it like, oh, that wasn't like
Yeah, it was
like
fine.
what was
It
wrong?
was
Like
just- it was
why
just
was I
working out.
building that up?
It was
Yeah.
just working out. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a big deal. And
it
like I
sounds
said, I
you
had
had a lot of experience like previously too.
Yeah. So I had been working out, so it was fine. And I honestly, I didn't have any like preconceived notions about CrossFit. I didn't really even know what it was. There have been people that I have asked to come, and they're like, "No way." I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, well, they drop heavy barbells. Everybody lays on the floor like they're dead when it's over. They always strip their shirts off before they even do anything. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. And so I started looking around and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess we can kind of do that.
I'm very observant.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like in my own zone when I'm working out and not, you
Good
know.
thing.
And so when I started noticing that, I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like,
But like you should be like, but that's because we're doing something. Like,
yeah,
like,
right.
and you realize that that means we're actually working. I mean, there are definitely those like preconceived notions for sure, and I think every gym is different, and we do have that stuff happen here. I know, like when we were down in Florida, like the shirt off thing was like, yeah, it's 90 plus degrees every day,
Right.
and I'm sweating through my shirt before the warm up's over because we don't have it's not an air conditioned gym. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's another, like people don't understand that. Like everyone's like taking clothes off, and it's like, yeah, because we're soaking wet
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not comfortable. But like, you know, who's gonna air condition a 6,000 square foot like building all the time?
Now that's something I actually like about this. So at Pivotal Fitness, they had like a boot camp class that was in their back like garage area, and it was big tires, and they would open the garage doors and they'd have the battle ropes and stuff, and that's what I liked. That was the class I liked taking there. So this is a lot like that. Like
Like just old school,
Yeah,
grind it out, like
yeah.
gritty. Like we don't have the air condition. Yeah.
like we would go outside in like the back of the building, and one day we were pushing cars, and one day we were slamming like medicine balls against the wall for doing sit-ups and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But so this felt very similar to that. Like, oh, it's just getting kind of dirty. Like
Yeah.
you do burpees here and your knees are black.
Yeah, I do feel like when we moved to this space, it kind of like upped our swankiness. Like the old space kind of felt more garagey,
Oh, yeah.
which I liked. Like
Yeah.
it was like kind of that dungeony old school, dark, but like just gritty kind of feeling. And not that I don't like having a nicer space, but it definitely the vibe of like, hey, we're gonna do something. Because I mean, that's again on a lot of these episodes we've talked about like where CrossFit kind of started, and like we try to keep that kind of atmosphere. And yeah, the buildings are nicer, but like just that, like, yeah, it didn't matter where you were. Like the back of a building, like with a garage door, sounds exactly like where like a
right.
CrossFit gym started. It's just like, yeah, there's a space that's not very nice, but like we can throw some things around and
Yep.
like get some work done. Sweet. Well, so like we got into CrossFit. You met some people. What made you, obviously you said you wanted to do more. Like how did the first like month, like was it still like that, like nervous, like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym again? Or was it like that first day and then it was like, oh, okay, like I'm good with just going back there. I met some people, I'm more comfortable.
I would say the first 2 or 3 times it was a little kind of nerve wracking, you know, like just nervous energy showing up. But I was a 5:30 person for definitely a whole year.
Kind of are.
No.
AM.
And they just were really easy. Like Tina invited me right away to go running with them on Thursdays. And when I went running with them the first time, that was the first time I ever ran 4 miles. Like I was like, okay.
There you go.
But yeah, they were really easy in the morning, so it was fine. It's like they just kind of became friends right away, and so that was good. I started switching from 5:30 when the boys were doing CrossFit Kids, because it was like, if I'm coming at 6:30, why am I waking up?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Fair.
And then the injury. When I got injured, I kind of didn't come for a while because I was just doing stuff at home because I couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why wake up and come and
Right.
do anything when I'm just doing stuff at home?
Fair enough.
And once you get out of that routine, I think it's hard to do it again.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'll ever be a 5:30er again.
It is. I was just telling somebody because Chris, who usually coaches 5:30, got sick this week, and so a couple of us jumped into cover for him, and I was literally like, man, when I used to do this every day, it wasn't that bad, but it's like that occasional like waking up like out of the routine. It's
Yep.
like it's tough if it's not like your everyday thing. It's kind of hard to like throw it in there sometimes, I think.
I do.
And it's, I literally like asked, I forgot who it was, and I was like, I don't know how I did this for like years.
Yeah.
But it's obviously like a routine thing. And then once I think you get out of that routine, then it's like, why am I doing this again?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I like my sleep. So two things that you said there, and one I want to ask you about because I've never actually talked to y'all about this, but like y'all have a little women's group that I've noticed that y'all go like hiking and stuff together. Like
Yeah.
a couple of y'all that
Um,
Tina's in there.
Tina, Linnell, and Carol.
Yeah.
Which Tina and Carol I did mayhem with that first year I was here.
Yeah.
I don't know how, Tina and Linnell are in the 5:30 a.m. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how they've been friends for a long time. And then they run together on Thursdays. So that's kind of how so I started running with them. And then Carol got looped in because of mayhem.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll go biking, hiking. We were going to go kayaking one time. I think it rained.
I think I saw a recent post like within the last month. Y'all did archery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salute River Archery.
Yeah.
So I had a friend that we used to like do adventures all the time together. Like once a month, it was like do something new, archery or rock climbing or whatever. And we haven't been friends for a couple years. So when Tina and Linnell and Carol they're up for anything.
Yeah, they're
I'm
like,
like,
"Let's do
yay.
it."
Okay, so that's something that I didn't know I needed until I came here. I have two best friends that are from college, but they don't live here. One lives in Idaho and the other lives in Georgia. She's only like an hour and a half away, but I don't see her that often.
Right.
They are my camping friends, my backpacking friends, my hiking friends, my do whatever friends. Locally, I haven't had any of those, like, because I had kids here. And so what do you do when you have kids? Like, you're home with your kids.
Yeah.
And everything revolves around their naps and their sports and their whatever. And so then when I came here and I started meeting people and we started doing stuff, I was like, wow, like I didn't really realize
You kind of needed that.
I needed that back in my life. Like people who just will do anything, you know. So
able to do anything, but also
Exactly.
want to do like
exactly.
I think that's the cool thing about, I mean, I'm sure there's other people in other gyms, but I feel like most CrossFit gyms have people like they're okay with and want to do more outside of just the gym. Like,
Oh, for
it's
sure.
not just go to the gym and work out and then whatever. It's like, oh yeah, like you want to go hiking, you want to go do stuff. Like we're typically more active type of people.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you met people that like you're like, yeah, y'all want to go do this? And they're like, yeah, let's go do it.
Yeah.
And they probably felt the same way. They maybe needed, like, you were probably like, oh, I like to camp. And they're like, I like to camp too. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's
Yes.
cool.
Sarah Beth was one of the first ones. She was like, I go to this rock climbing gym. Y'all want to come? And so
Yeah.
Carol, I don't know if Carol went, but Linnell and Tina and I
Yeah.
went, and it was just fun. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Um,
I like seeing the random stories. And this, not just y'all, there are other random groups that like I will be on Instagram and I'll just see like a photo and I'm like, that's awesome. Like
Mhm.
it's so cool that like we aren't producing these groups of people that like to hang out with each other. Like y'all just get to know each other in class and realize, oh, I like to camp, I like to run, I like to do these things.
Yeah.
And then you find these other people that do it too. And then y'all outside of here go and do those things. And then we get to sit back and watch our community grow in a way that like probably never really expected.
yeah, it's fun.
so-
Recently we went on a boat for Haley's birthday, and that was
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
But I don't know how many of us there were, 12 or something,
Yeah.
but chipped in, and
Yeah.
so then it hardly cost anything. Go on a
Yeah.
boat and hang out, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. The other thing that you talked about was your injury, which happened snow tubing
Snow tubing.
out of all things. Speaking of Tina too, like y'all's injuries happened like within the
No,
all
the
right.
same day.
Yeah, that
So-
was wild.
Okay, so that was insane. That was
I mean,
insane.
both injuries and both texts, or like I was here actually for Tina's, and then you text me I think like the next day, and I was like, "What is happening?" Just we don't have to talk about it, but Tina was doing burpees over a bar,
Yeah,
kicked the bar, and broke her leg.
yeah.
It was the wildest thing. I was like, "Oh, I think you maybe just twisted it," like, and then come to find out she had like completely fractured it. And then I think you text me either later that day or the next day, and you're like, "Hey, my knee is like completely shot. I was snow tubing out of all things."
Yeah.
And so, what exactly happened?
So it was Will's birthday, and we were doing a little adventure, bring a friend, and go snow tubing. And Moonshine Mountain. Have you ever been there?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever been there.
Apparently, snow tubing is dangerous. I've heard that.
Oh, okay.
Now I didn't know that before, but so you sit on a tube and you just go down. It's like sledding. I grew up in
Yeah.
Illinois. We sledded all the time. We went sledding all the time. So you sit on it, and as you're going down, there's banks,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to keep your feet in, and apparently this foot was not completely in, and so my foot hit the snowbank because you kind of spin sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm traveling down, foot goes that way, knee goes this way. Immediately,
I
I
just like caught and like,
ripped the MCL right off the bone. I get to the bottom, and so you have to get up quickly because people are coming down. And the guy's like, "You got to get up," and I was like, "Nope."
I don't think you understand.
And I was like, I can't. And so he like helped me up, and he's like, "Get your tube." And I'm not a Karen, but I was like, "You get the tube." I was like, I was done.
I would be too if that happened. Yeah, absolutely.
So then I hobbled over to the picnic bench, and I had snow pants on. I took those off. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I know something is wrong.
Yeah.
And it ended up swelling. It was like this big. We were staying in North Carolina for the night for Will's birthday at a little house, had a hot tub or whatever. I stayed. I slept in a recliner because I couldn't bend it, straighten it, whatever.
Oh man. What a mom. What a mom. She's like, you know what? I'm staying for you, but this hurts.
It was terrible. It
Yeah.
was terrible. Went to the ER the next day, and they were like, "Well, we're not going to send you for an MRI. You'll have to go to your doctor or whatever and get it done."
Yeah.
So then, trying to think of what happened next, but I think I ended up having to go to my actual doctor to get a referral because they wouldn't take one. Like my insurance wouldn't
Yeah.
pay if it came straight through the ER or whatever. So I went to my doctor. Took a month. So I finally got an MRI a month later. It was grade 4, which is the worst, like completely just gone. And he said I was walking with it bent, and he was like, "You need to get it straight, like within the next week. If you can't get it straight, you have to have surgery." So then I started PT. That was twice a week with the guy, and then twice a day at home. Like every morning at 7 before I went to work, I would do it, and then every afternoon at 2:45 between picking up one kid and the other from school, I would squeeze it in and do the other. But that was for like two months probably of just nonstop PT. And then I got discharged from PT. This is terrible. I could get up off the toilet. I could jump a little.
Yeah.
And I could run a little. And they're like, "You're good. That's good enough."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Nah, not good enough for me."
Yeah. You're like, I don't think you understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's where Troli Train comes in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No. Well, so you still never had surgery on it.
I never
You
had-
Never
no.
had. So if it was completely torn, I'm assuming it's still not attached.
Well, I think it was hanging on.
Okay,
by
so
like
there
a little-
was some.
So
Okay,
there,
all right.
he said it's gonna just heal.
Yeah.
It'll heal right back.
Okay.
But
Because I mean, I've heard of MCL, ACL injuries where it's just kind of like you don't really need it if you're not planning on doing like a crazy athletic agility style sport.
Yeah.
Because you can build enough of the muscles kind of around it to stabilize the knee, like the quad, the hamstring, and other stuff. So yeah, I don't think we ever fully. Like maybe you did tell me, and then, but yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, you were like, "Hey, I want to get back in the gym." Like, yeah, I did. Like, I think through this conversation already, we can kind of tell a little bit. Like, the gym is like a good mental space for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you need to work out. And I've gotten that feeling over the years of like, I know when things are going on, you're like, I'm going to the gym, which I'm the same way. Like, yeah, this is my job, but like, if I get stressed, I'll look at Taylor and be like, I need to go work out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to go to the gym to work. I need to go work out. Like, I need to move. And then I feel better after. And I feel like you're kind of that same way. So it's like,
Okay, I am, and I was, and then when this happened, the gym became more of a stress than a stress relief. Like those
Right.
first couple months, like I remember when the open was going on, so that would have been 2024. The open was going on, and I signed up for it because I was like better-ish.
yeah.
And it was like jumping burpees and overhead squats or something. And I just remember telling you like, "This is fucking stupid," you're like, "It's gonna be fine."
It's gonna be fun.
You're like, "I'll be your coach. It'll be fine. You can do this."
do this.
But I like everything just felt stressful because
Yeah.
it was slow, and it was like, take your time and
Yeah.
and
But I knew that this was that space for you
Yeah.
to enjoy, right? And so that was like my battle was like, okay, I gotta convince Karen that like she can get back
yeah.
to like enjoying the gym again. And I know you were struggling with it. So I
was
just wanted to make sure
terrible.
we talked about that because like that's big because like when you have something and then it gets taken from you, you have two options. Either completely give up and go find something new, which maybe there is something, maybe there's not, or like put your head down and work,
Yeah.
which is what you decided you were going to do.
Yeah.
Wasn't like accepting like the PT being like, yeah, you're good. And then like, you're like, well, what the hell do I do now? Like, you're like, all right, well, like if you're saying I'm good, I'm definitely not, but like, I'm going to find another way to like get this better so
Yeah.
that I can go back to doing what I like to do or what I need to do to like de-stress for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Daily stuff. So the props to you for like choosing that route, because a lot of people don't. Like something happens and then they just immediately go, well, that's going to be a lot of work. I'm not willing to do that.
Mhm.
Okay, now my life is just this way.
I will say some upper body stuff got pretty good. And those kind of ones, like, like
Right?
my bench press really
Yeah.
picked up. My overhead press during that time, I was like strict press because I
Yeah.
couldn't even push press.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
I couldn't even push press. And that's okay. So that was part of it too. Like when PT was like, yeah, you're good. I was like, but I cannot do anything snappy. Like I can't do push jerks. I can't do snatches. I can't do because
And they're like, what's a snatch?
they're like, you can get up and down off the floor. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's, I think I forgot who we talked to, maybe Ronnie, about injuries as well. Of like, there is some blessing in the sense that like, hey, now you have to, or you're almost forced to focus on like a different area that maybe wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But then you also like wanted to grind to get back to doing those snappy things. So yeah, I think that's where obviously we started chatting about like, hey, what else can we do? And so that was 2 winters ago, right?
So it was 2023, yeah. So, but it was 2025 when you did the trolley train
Yeah.
competition, but online.
But like before that,
So I just
we
did PT
still-
at home forever,
yeah.
forever and ever. Like every day I was doing something. Not every day, but close to.
Yeah, but you were, so I think we had chatted about like trying to get you back squatting like lower.
Oh yeah, to a
and,
ball
like,
and
yeah.
like to a bench and then
It's
to a
almost like
ball.
going back to like the foundation.
Oh,
days
yeah,
of
yeah.
just like, hey, here's where we're at.
Like no way.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Just the bar.
Yeah.
And that was hard because it was in 2023. Like I had gotten my nutrition down. Like 2023, I was the strongest I think I had ever been. Like I've been thinner, but I've never been stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so 2023, I felt like I was like kicking some butt.
Yeah.
And then that happened. And so 2024 was spent like going back to the drawing board, like you're
Kinda
saying,
like-
like squat to a box, squat to a ball. Don't shift because I was doing a lot of shifting off of the bad knee onto so trying to watch those
Little
patterns.
space,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Was it ever, or is it in your head? Because obviously I know where you're at now. Did you like believe like you're gonna get like,
Oh,
okay, I was
yeah.
really strong, like I'm gonna get back there?
Oh yeah, for sure. Always.
Like
It
in
just,
your head, you're
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I figured I would. It was just, I think the mental exhaustion just wore on me sometimes. You know, like the waiting and the working and like
Yeah.
it just takes a long time. There was a workout that I remember doing. It was just air squats and running, and I think I had just started being able to run again, and I was like the last person in the workout, and I'm not usually last, and it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
the leaderboard doesn't matter, but that was a hard day, and I like was almost in tears. And Logan met me outside, and he's like, "I know how competitive you are." He's like, "You're gonna be better. You're gonna get through this."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "This is terrible."
Yeah.
You know, because my air squats, it was like something you should just be able to crank out. And it was like 1, 2. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I knew it would
Yeah.
be back to normal. I've never had an injury though in my entire life. Like no injury, no broken bones, no. So now that I have had an actual thing, like
Yeah.
I tweaked this knee just last week. So I
But
lay
now you're like, it's a tweak, not an injury.
exactly. I'm like, I know an injury. I'm like, it feels nothing like that other. I'm like, so just lay off some stuff for a little while, it'll be fine. But I'm
Yeah.
not ever like gonna push to the point where I'm
Yeah.
injured, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, obviously you didn't mean to do that one either.
Right.
No, I think it's important to kind of talk about and go through kind of your journey with it because, people get hurt whether it's in here or out of here, and it's like they don't fully understand the time frame of
Mhm.
like being able to come back from something like that, right? But it is doable if you're willing to like, hey, like I still want to show up and move. I still want to try to get this better. We have to start where it is, just like anyone on their fitness journey. But like when an injury happens, it's like, all right, we just have to go back to, okay, now here's where we're at, and let's just start moving again towards the direction we want to.
Mhm.
And barring another injury, like we'll get back there and we'll move forward, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to hear your journey and your mental, like, yes, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to just show up.
And I feel like I'm like this close. I'm like
I-
this close to
would
where
say you
to be
are.
where I was, and it's a year and a half, I would say now is how long it's been. So
yeah,
I'm almost there. So my squat was 230 before, and I'm at like 20. I think 207 was the last
Yeah.
one I did. So getting
That's
there,
good.
you know.
yeah. And then you did the comp, and then we've been doing some trolley train. accessory work,
Yeah.
which I feel like now is not that we're gonna like you could do anything and you're gonna get better, but I feel like we focused on some stuff that maybe you weren't really dialing in before, which will hopefully help as the knee continues to go.
Definitely. So,
Uh,
so the trolley train. I don't know if everybody, all 100 people who watch this, know.
Hey, we're getting pretty popular around here, right?
I don't know if you know, but he did an online competition, trolley train, and that was something I didn't know. Also, that I was missing until I came to CrossFit is competition. Like I used to
Competitive.
play volleyball when I was younger, and I didn't realize I was missing that. So when you did that one, I was like, yes, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then I won a month free of trolley train. So that's how I kind of got into the trolley train stuff. And you asked right away, like, what are your goals? And I was like, 100% this knee.
Yeah.
Like figure out more stuff to just keep making it get better.
There was things like in class I could just see like you would just like immediately be like, no. And it's like, all right, well, what happened, right? So yeah, I know, like obviously we talked about it a little bit, and I know you just mentioned it with like the PT stuff of like the explosiveness was bothering you and whatnot. So obviously it's still in your head of like this thing is limiting me.
But other things. So with trolley train, overhead. So overhead is my worst, okay. So another thing that has gotten really good since I've been doing CrossFit, my husband used to tease me and tell me that my shoulders were going to touch in the middle. He's like, eventually they're just going to touch in the middle so I work with kids and I sit on the floor and that you're always like this. And since coming here, I'm like, oh, I've got better posture, blah, blah, blah. But overhead position. So that's something, and it's all related to this. Like everything is tight. So we've been working on overhead position. We've been working on pushing and pulling, which I'm super impressed with my, push-ups these days. Like I feel like I did 200 push-ups for Murph, like at 44 years old. That's the first time I've ever done 200 push-ups in a day.
And they were legit push-ups. Like, not that other people out there but like when we do push-ups, sometimes it's like, oh, those are kind of push-ups. So when I watch Karen do push-ups, it's like, those are push-ups. Like you're doing push-ups, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. And I think a lot of that comes from trolley train. Because we work on pushing and pulling and
pushing and pulling, that's for sure. And so we got pushing, pulling, shoulder, knee, and then some Olympic lifting.
Yes,
just kind of putting some of the explosiveness back in there, and also just some technique work.
The Olympic, like I cannot jerk. I don't like. There is something. I am learning to. I cannot yet though. Like it's always like push the bar up and fall under. Huh?
Yeah.
Right.
We're getting there. But I mean, there was a learning curve. Then you were learning it, and then you got hurt, so we had to go all the way back, and we're learning it again, right? And those things do take some time. And like, I mean, let's say your journey's been 3 years, right? I mean, if I took videos of my clean and jerks or snatches from day 1 to the 3-year mark to now, like they would be completely different, right?
Yeah.
And so you're gonna look back and go like, oh, okay. And not that an injury is good, but it did happen early enough to where like it's like, okay, we had to take some time to build some other stuff, but like hopefully moving forward, it's like, oh, okay, like that was more in the beginning of my CrossFit journey, not like later on where maybe like you had been doing it for 10 years and then you were like, I'm just kind of over it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or who's to say? But so we've been working on some stuff.
We've been working. I like the trolley train stuff.
Have you noticed a difference in class? Or just like personal like growth points?
I have noticed it definitely in like pull-ups, push-ups. I can almost do a full wall walk now. I hate wall walks. I know you sometimes talk with other people about what's their favorite and least favorite movement. My least is wall walk. They are terrible.
But let's just, I mean, you did during the kids class or the kids competition, you had to do some wall walks.
I did want to talk to you about that. Okay.
And you got pretty freaking close to an RX wall walk, which was like way better than where we had been a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I literally was watching, yes, it was the kids comp, but I was like watching you and I was like, she's crushing this right now.
Yeah.
Which means that we've made some pretty good progress in the sense of like being able to get into that overhead position. Cause it's not, for you, it's not a strength issue.
Yeah. No.
It's a mobility. Can you get into a stacked position? Because if you can get there, you're strong enough to get yourself up the wall and back down. Right. So.
But my head doesn't go through the window. The window doesn't go far enough back.
The window doesn't move.
Put your hands above your head. Okay. Okay. So I got to tell you about the competition with Josh, though. That's been a highlight. He ended up getting second. He's thrilled. But for that workout, it was snatches,
dumbbell snatch, box jump
jump,
over, and
wall
wall walks.
walks.
Yeah.
So looking at the board, we talked about it. Now he's never done a competition, so he had these huge aspirations, which I was like, okay. And he knows that I suck at wall walks, so he's like, I'm gonna do 5.
Oh, okay. So it's
And-
6. It was
and
it was
it was
30
6.
snatches, 20 box overs, 6 wall
Yeah.
walks. Yeah.
And he also knows that I'm very slow at box jumps. So we were going to split the snatches evenly. Box jumps, he was going to do 15, I think. And then I was only going to do 5, and he was going to do 6 wall walks, and I was going to do 1. We did that the first round. Was it 4 rounds?
3 rounds.
3
I
rounds?
think it was 3 rounds of 30, 26.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So we continued to split the snatches. Second round, I think we did 10 and 10 on box jumps, and probably 4 and 2 on wall walks. Like that kid was crushing it. And then in the last round, I could tell his box jumps, like he was getting slow. He couldn't do it. So I pulled in, did a little bit more box jumps.
You're like, ha,
But-
I'm fresh.
But it was still, he probably still did more than I did. And then we get to the wall walks. And I had told him before, I was like, if you lose your wall walks, we're screwed. I was like, I am no good. I'm like,
Yeah.
I cannot help you. So he did 1, and the look on his face was like, Mom, like we're going to lose it. So I was like, okay, I'll go. And so I think we did 1 and 1 and 1 and
Yeah.
1, like back and forth. But that was terrible. And he had the realization of like, oh, like I could do 6 in the first round, but now by round
Yeah.
3, like he was toast.
That maybe he talked about it a little bit more, but like the difference between like class and that for him. I know he's competitive. He plays baseball
Right,
and stuff, right? So that was the first workout. Did that kind of like you think restructure his mind for the day of like maybe this isn't going to be like like I feel like for him sometimes like class is easy or like it's
No,
more fun.
I don't think it restructured anything. He like the running was the second one,
Yeah.
and he went out hot. Like
Yeah.
I was chasing him, and we ended up crushing that one.
Yeah.
I think we ended up winning that one, but he was all in. He's
Yeah.
he's gonna
Just
go
like,
for it.
We're gonna go for it. We're gonna
Yep.
try to.
He's gonna red line. We're gonna red
Yeah.
line, and there's nothing else.
That's good. That's awesome.
And I was actually surprised by that. Like with it being a kids comp, I didn't think it was going to be as hard and as challenging. It was equally as
I'm not
challenging.
gonna lie. After the comp, I was like, that was harder on the adults than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I give it to credit to Steven and the kids class, and the coaches, because the kids were prepared to go hard and do things and like do a lot of them to where now the adults like had to keep up
Yeah.
instead of like being like, oh, I'm gonna let my kid do a little bit, I'm gonna get to rest, and then we're gonna switch. It was like, no, there were like strategies and like going hard and like, and it's not like they were taking it like that easy either. So
No.
like after that comp, I really like I was like, man, like, you know, we thought we programmed some easier stuff that it was going to be more, which it was for the kids, but I didn't really think the adults would struggle that hard. And it was kind of cool to see that they did, because that meant the kids were prepared enough
Yeah.
to do their share and push the energy and the intensity.
Josh was 100% prepared. I
yeah.
have to tell you about the last workout too. That was burpees over the bar.
Deadlifts, burpees, cleans, burpees, shoulder to overhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we split it evenly, the whole thing, until the last shoulder to overhead. Josh did what I don't know if it was 20 reps or whatever, but he did 5. I did 5. And there would have only been 10 left. And Rob White was our coach. And my boys, like, they love him. They call him Extra Rob because every time we're in the gym, they see him doing extra stuff. And so, he's Extra Rob. And so he was our coach. And Extra Rob said to Josh, after he did his 5th rep, he said, "You got one more?" And Josh cranked out the last 5. Like, it didn't even give me the last 5. He just cranked them out. But he was looking all around. You could tell he was like, "Look at me."
Yeah. Like, look what I can do.
But when it was all over, I was like, "So what made you do that?" And he was like, "Well, Extra Rob said, you know," like he wanted to impress him and like do the stuff. So I was like,
Heck
all
yeah.
right. So that was
That's
kind of
awesome.
cool.
Sweet.
That was kind of cool.
Heck yeah. Do you feel like with the kids stuff, like obviously Josh and Will both have done class and they both play baseball. Like the different like for their and not athleticism because they were already athletes, but like do you feel like they're like learning things that are helping them, or is it just a strength? Like, yeah, they're getting stronger, so now when they go play baseball, like there's a difference there compared to the other kids and whatnot.
Yeah, I think they're definitely learning things. Will, I think he wants to be like a power lifter or something. He's like, I want to deadlift. I want to
Yeah.
I want to squat. He wants to do all those things. So he's learning what he likes.
Yeah.
Josh, I think, is learning growth mindset. Josh, I think, is more of a fixed mindset kind of kid. I was that when I was younger. It was either I'm good at it or I'm not, and I don't want to do it if I'm not good at it. Like sports came easy, this came easy, and then it was like learn to play the guitar. What, you got to practice?
Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I was probably in my 20s that I like learned what all that was. Like, oh, you kind of can do
Yeah.
do anything you want. Like, that's, I think, a little far fetched, but you can do a
try.
lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do, and I think Josh has, since starting CrossFit Kids, that's been a big thing. Like, because he's good at gymnastic stuff. Like, he can do the pull-ups, he can do the whatever. The weightlifting is hard, so he's learned like, oh, if I just keep showing up, like,
Yeah.
it gets a little easier or whatever.
Sweet.
So I think that's the big thing.
Cool. Yeah. It's cool to see that, like, in all the kids, but them too. Like, I think back to like their first CrossFit Kids cycle and like I don't know if I really want to do this or not. But then now it's like they want to do it
Oh, yeah.
because they feel the difference in I feel like they see the things outside of here and they're like, okay, this place is helping me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like exciting for them. But then also they're getting better at the things that are here, which is more fun too.
Yeah, as far
right?
as their athleticism though, like for baseball and stuff, like I think Will definitely has more power now. Like
Yeah.
he's crushing the ball in baseball, and I think some of that comes from stuff he's doing here.
Yeah.
And I think he's running better too. Like
Like cardio wise and like
yeah. Where Josh, I don't know, he's always been like he can jump and he can run fast, and
Yeah.
maybe he's running faster even though like he's.
Yeah.
So I think he's getting a lot from here.
Do you think that, like, in your head, you ever thought your kids would be working out at this age? Or was it like
They always have. So I was talking to my husband about this last night. So when I was at home doing all the P90X or whatever, like I would do that in my kitchen. So we had weights out wherever. And so I have old videos of like Josh, he's this big and there's a dumbbell on the ground and he's trying to pick it up and he can't, so they've been around it forever. I did yoga for 6 years. They would always be out there doing yoga. That's one of those things when you were saying like sometimes you get injured and you just quit.
Yeah.
I injured my wrist cross country skiing. And that was like the end of yoga. Cause like I tried to keep doing it, but I could never, cause I couldn't like get on my wrist.
support? Yeah.
But yeah, so they've been
Maybe
around it
that's
forever.
why you can't wall walk.
Probably. No. Blame it on that. And it wasn't like a real injury either. It was
Yeah.
a tweak.
Okay. We're connected here. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, sorry to cut you off, but like when people like they're like, I think I hurt this, and I'm like, scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you're still working out, like let's take the hurt and let's kind of reframe that to like, maybe we just need a little break.
Yeah.
And we're always, I mean, my first recommendation is always like, all right, give it a day or two. Let's check back in. 90% of the time, don't hear from that person again.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, you're fine. Like it was this thing that happened, and like, yeah, it was maybe a little scary at the time, but like you're good.
It'll be good. Yeah.
Like an injury, like we're gonna know. And again, if it's really an injury, we're not gonna fix it today, like
Right.
or tomorrow or next week. Like it's gonna take some time. So, yeah, that whole difference between like a tweak and an injury, and then like, okay, let's manage it, but still like walk ourselves off the cliff. Like let's take a step back.
I had a shoulder tweak when we were at the old gym, and I just remember I couldn't blow dry my hair because I couldn't like pick my arm up over my head, and we did sit-ups, but I think you had to have a medicine ball. No, they were just regular sit-ups, but you bring your hands over your head, and I just did one arm.
Yeah,
I was like, we'll make it work.
We'll work.
Just do one arm for all the snatches or whatever, but
there you go.
it goes away in a week and then you're fine.
Yeah. What when you I'm sorry, I'm jumping back to the beginning. You did Mayhem. Was that that was the first year?
Mhm. That would have been 2022.
And you were a couple months in, or was it like when
I started in May.
Okay.
And I did Murph the first year. So I started like May 1st and I did Murph with Sarah
Okay.
Beth.
Yeah.
She split it with me.
And you're like, I don't know what this workout is. This is crazy.
I mean, I was doing push-ups on a box and like I just kept
Yeah.
scaling easier.
Yeah,
'Cause that was terrible.
So what made you decide to sign up for Mayhem then?
Tina just asked me. I was like, okay.
Was that like your first taste of like, oh, I need to compete, or I like to compete?
I
Like,
think, yeah.
Once you did
Once
that?
I did that,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
And then I did a couple things after that. Charity and I did one together, like barbell rodeo or something.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
that used to be a thing. Yeah.
What else? I've done the house parties. I did
Yeah.
one at the old gym.
We've done it
I think we got first. Ooh,
3 times now. That's good. We like when the lights flicker.
SCT bench. She's like, "What happened?"
Too much power in here.
Um,
So what do you feel like
they have
that
questions, I think.
piece of that is maybe not. Is that did part of that and like the competing and the competitive experience, like is that something that like maybe helped like you stick with CrossFit, or was it just like leading up to that you already could tell like a difference of like this is kind of what I was looking for, like I've seen improvements. Like, do you think the competitive side and like having things signing up and like, okay, I now can continue to push to get better? Like, is that something
I
that
think the
like
competitive
keeps you?
competitions and stuff definitely keep me going because
Yeah.
that's fun for me. And that was something just like the friendships and stuff. I didn't realize that I was missing until
Yeah.
like I did that first competition. I was like, oh, I really like this.
Okay.
Like there's just something about it. And you push a different level during a competition than you do in
Yeah.
everyday class. Like some days you push and some days you just move, But yeah, I really enjoy the competitions. It's fun.
I was asking because it's like not everyone is competitive, but I do feel like everyone needs to compete
Hmm.
to give them something to kind of train for, and it doesn't even have to be like a house party, like it's the most chill competition around. But then B, like you just said, like they will end up pushing harder than they do in class.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like after every time we do house party or something, or every one time someone does their first competition, you then see a different side of them in class after that.
Yeah.
It's like they found this new level
Like
of
Kevin's
yeah.
level. He was gonna puke during that bike.
Yeah.
Whenever it was bike and burpees.
Yeah.
Bike and burpees. And we were back here in the corner and he like gave me this look of death and he's like, I'm gonna puke. And like he was
And
pushing.
you're like, man, you've never done this before. Yeah. I think we were all surprised. Man, Kevin gets talked about a lot on here. Maybe we should have Kevin on. He's gonna defend himself one day.
I think so. He might be the next one.
Uh
But yeah.
But no, I was listening to something the other day and I was like, yeah, like, not that we push ourselves to be like a competitive gym, but like I think those local, small, whatever competitions are kind of important for people to be exposed to, but then also potentially like not that they have to sign up, but it's like when they do, I feel like that's like one of those things that like it just opens them up to like this idea of like going a little bit harder. And like, oh, maybe I can do a little bit more.
Yeah, you can handle more than you think you can.
Yeah.
Okay, we could talk something about that. Mindset of people in the gym.
Uh-huh.
Do you struggle to work out around people if they're like constantly complaining about something or like this is gonna suck or like does that affect you at all or are you just able to tune it out and stay in your lane?
Personally, I mean, I'm able to connect with a lot of people and like figure out, and it's also like the way they say it kind of depends on like, oh, they're actually really down about this. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I need to approach them a little differently. And even if I'm working out next to them, sometimes I'll try to encourage them. And then if they're just kind of like saying it because they're complaining, like, known him for a long time, but like Robbie is probably the biggest complainer I know when it comes to working out and doing hard things. And I'll just tell him to suck it up and like shut up, like get over it or whatever,
Like,
So
you can
there's the
complain about it
difference.
every
Yeah.
day.
There's a difference in like who it is, but I try not to like let other people's um attitude towards something like affect how I'm gonna approach the workout. And hopefully a lot of people can, because like you never know what kind of day someone else is having, and
Right.
it's like, but like energy is important, which we've talked about in like some of our coaches meetings of like we need to make sure that we're keeping the energy up, right? And like so if we have those people walk into class that look like maybe they're a little more down today, or they like, okay, let's try to get to that person and conversate with them and like build them back up before that energy spreads throughout the room, because we don't want that happening. But I think like personally, if I'm working out next to somebody, like I've probably already looked at the workout for the day. I've already like put a goal in my head of like what I want to do or how I want to approach it. And then like for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna prove to myself that I can do the thing that I said I could do or try to do, or be in that area. So I try not to. It's just like people complain about the music sometimes. It's like I don't hear the music when I'm working out. So it's like I also really don't hear or feel the person next to me, like because like when that clock starts, it's like me and whatever's going on, right? I definitely can see where people, especially if they're chatting before class or something, where like maybe that energy could kind of grab onto you and be like, oh, well, they don't want to do this. Like, I don't really want to do this
Yeah.
or whatever. But I usually try to be the opposite. Like, if someone's like down or tired, I'm like, nah, you can like shut up. Let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
come on, you know?
Complaining is one of those things, though. I think it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
like
no.
well, there should be like a no complain zone.
Yeah.
You know, like the bike every time. The bike's gonna suck. And like,
Well,
it's 30 seconds.
yeah, right.
You know,
Like, you're getting better at it.
It's like you can handle suck for 30
I
seconds.
don't remember when we had it, but we had the shirt that because it's a quote that I said a lot. Like, you'll be all right. It's on the back of one of our like original shirts. And people were like, we should put that on a shirt. And I was like, because people would complain and they'd be like, oh, this workout looks terrible. And I'm like, you'll be all right. Like, at the end of it, like, you're not going to die today. You're either going to finish the workout or you're going to get better. Like, you'll be all right. Like, just
you'll survive.
Stop complaining and start moving.
Yeah.
Like, you chose to come here today.
Yep.
Complaining's not going to do anything. Right. Like, I'm not going to change the workout for you. I'm not going to like, you know, like there's
like you paid to be here.
You're gonna do this. So yeah, no, I mean, but you know, there is a mindset to what we do. And I think the people that stick with it, whether they're just a bit habitual like complainer and like that's just kind of how they deal with things, and some of it's in a fun way or whatever, but because no matter how it comes out, they wouldn't still be here if they really truly like weren't getting better or didn't see it, right? So it's like just how they deal with some things, but trying to grab those people or like, you know, if someone is being a little more down, like, hey, like it's gonna be all right, like let's go, or like, hey, I know you're tired. You showed up today. Get the best of what you can out of it.
Right.
Go home.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you don't have to be high energy and like do the best every day, but you still showed up to work out. So like, let's get a good workout in.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's just helping them reframe, which we did with you a lot of times, like through the injury of like, hey, like you're here, you're moving, like let's get out of this like, oh, I'm in last place mindset. And like, hey, I showed up and I did something today, right? And so it's just taking that from each person as they walk in the door and just kind of trying to meet people at like, you know, it's if we take it back to a coaching aspect, like, yeah, we run class and do stuff, but we also are very in tune, I would say, especially, you know, if we coach a lot of the same people, like Nate can probably attest to this of like when he has people walk in at 5:30 a.m., he can probably tell if they're in the same mood that they're usually in or if something else is going on, right? Like I know when TJ walks in, good morning, like as loud, like in like, but if he doesn't do that,
you're like, what's up?
Then, you know, it's kind of like a red flag of like, okay, is he all right today or whatever, you know, like just random people like do those things, you know what I mean? So
it would probably be the opposite for me if I walked in and I was like,
and you were energetic, like, what is Karen on this morning? Yeah, but I mean, we do
I'm a
get
little
in
bit
touch.
like Nate. I don't say much.
we do get in touch with the people that are coming in, and that's part of being a coach is seeing and okay, I'm going to make a mental note that like that person doesn't seem like their normal self. I'm going to get through the brief, and then during the warm up, I'm walking around chatting, and that's one of my times to be able to go over and be like, hey, you doing all right today? Like, what's going on? You don't see, you know, and it could be a quick 5-second thing where, okay, now I know what's going on with them. They know I understand. I'm not going to bother them for the day. Or it could just be like a quick little pep talk. And then all of a sudden their mindset changes. Or, hey, someone checked on me today and now I feel better or whatever it is. Right.
Yeah. Who knew that being a CrossFit coach was going to be
like therapy
would be more than just teaching barbell lifts.
Yeah. Well, and it's part of being a good coach, right?
Yeah. You're a coach. You're a therapist. You're a friend. You're a...
I'm an electrician. I'm a plumber.
Right.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, man. But it's good. It's good to be able to, because at the end of the day, we want people to enjoy coming here and to continue to show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to be able to connect with people. That's a huge part of it, right? And so that being said, like with Bring a Friend Week that we're in, we don't know these people as well, but we're still trying to connect with them, right? And we're still trying to make sure that they still get that same feeling of like, oh, these people care about me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just trying to show them that it's real. That's like, hey, this is something that happens here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just this fake thing because we want you to sign up.
Just,
like, we
it's
actually
real.
like, you know, we do care about people. And so it's like catching up with them before, following up after, encouraging them. I know like Ilse has had a group of friends come in and some of them are really scared to come in. And so like the other day, I stopped one in the middle of deadlifts. I was like, hey, and she was like, what? And she was all nervous. I was like, relax and smile a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
are you having fun? And she's like, kind of. And I was like, okay.
Kind of.
I was like, that's fine. Like, that's good. Like, you're doing great. Like, you're crushing it. Like, and then you could just see like this wave of just like, okay, all right.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know, like everyone's so afraid that other people are watching them or they're going to do something wrong or they're not doing it right. And it's like, you're here to move. Like,
Right,
you know,
right,
and
right.
like, but it's just finding those people that like, they look afraid or they are scared or they're and it's just like just walking up to them and like giving them that little nudge of like,
I see
you're
you,
all right,
you're
like,
fine.
yeah, you're doing all
yeah.
right, you're doing this thing, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's pretty big. Speaking of bringing a friend, where are all your friends at?
Here. No, I've been trying to convince my husband to come for the whole time, but
Yeah.
he just keeps saying no. He's like, we have a gym at home. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
but it's not the same.
no.
It's not the
I'm
same.
like, you would like the people there. I'm like, people like him. He's a likable guy.
Yeah,
I'm like, you would make some good friends, but he keeps saying no.
it's interesting because I mean, I had a conversation with one of our members, and I think some people don't find the value in it, or they don't see the value in what we do, right? Until you actually start doing it. And he was telling me that one of his first experiences with CrossFit was actually kind of a bring a friend week situation. I don't think it's called bring a friend week, but anyway, they had kind of almost like a deload week, and he was invited to go, and he was going to Gold's Gym before, and then he like went into this CrossFit gym, and they had made the workouts so easy that he was like, why would I pay for this?
Right.
Because I can literally do this on my own, right? And so it's finding that balance with the bring a friend week things of like, we need to show people why it's as expensive as it is. So not necessarily just through programming, but also through the connecting part, the friendly part, the community part, like all of that stuff during the week.
That's definitely what you're paying for.
Yeah.
My husband and I were talking about it last night because I was telling him how nervous I was. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
But we were talking about like, why do I keep coming back? What are you paying for? Like, why is it worth the money? And a big part of it is that you go to a Globo gym, everybody's got their headphones on and
Yeah.
they're just head down doing the work. Like, you don't meet people at a gym like that. Like this, it really is. I know we throw it out there, community, but it is like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like everybody does a hard thing together. And then when it's over, you laugh and you talk about it and then you become friends.
Yeah.
And
you get to do stuff outside of here together.
That, and then the coaching, like learning how to do all the Olympic lifts and everything like that. Like,
yeah. I think the side of coaching that people don't realize though is like, we're not just watching you to judge you. And like that needs to be better. I think the biggest part of coaching that keeps people coming back is we push you.
Oh yeah.
That little nudge of like, hey, you've been doing this for a while. Like you need to add some weight, or you need to try this new movement, or you should try this, or try to go, I don't know, faster or whatever. And it's like, to some people that's scary, the idea that someone's going to do that, but the way we do it isn't like, you got to go hard. Like, it's like, hey, like we're going to let you be comfortable.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're going to let you not be like, but it's like finding that time again, connecting with people and being like, Karen, like, it's like, you can almost see in people like, okay, they think it's easy, but they're not willing to like choose to do the next thing. So like, I need to be the one to be like, hey, you should try this other thing. And you think I can? And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't tell you could, or I wouldn't want you to do it if I didn't think you were ready for it.
Right. That's hard though sometimes to add weight in like you've been doing a certain weight for a while and then to do something.
Like,
I worked out with his wife, Claire, one time, and I don't remember everything that it was, but it was box jumps and pull-ups and cleans. And I think the clean was 85 or 95. And I was on that level of like, I can do that, but in the middle of a workout. And she's like, why not? And I was like, okay, why not?
Claire's also a coach, by the way.
She's amazing. And when it was over, I was like, okay, I did it, but it was hard.
Yeah.
And it's good. Like I realized like, okay, it's good to like push that limit. Like I would rather push the limit and be slower than not push the limit and just stay where I am, you know?
And if you don't do that, then you had to touch the weight at some point. Right. And under fatigue and under intensity, right? You can't just continue to like, oh, I only do that during lifting. Like it's never going to feel the same when all of a sudden you're in the middle of a workout. So did that change? Like, do you now use a heavier weight when you do canoes?
It just depends how I feel.
Yeah.
So like 85 all weight, never less than 85, but and I'll do 95 and I'll do 105. Just depends what it is, like how many.
Yeah.
You know, how many.
Do you feel like that day helped you approach workouts differently then?
Oh, for
of
sure.
Like, okay, now I know it's okay to push myself a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Sweet.
then I think it was Tommy who like he always likes to say, "You doing RX today?"
Yeah.
And most of the time it's no,
Yeah.
but he'll say, "Why not? Like, can you do some toes to bar?" And I might say like a couple, and he's like, "Well, then do a couple. Like,
Yeah.
try to." So I was like, "Okay." Like, I guess in the beginning you don't know like how much can you change the workout. Like, if it's 10, can you just do 4 RX and then a couple? Like you just don't know
Yeah.
what to do. So I don't know. Some of those like
Makes
why
sense.
not comments float around in there, and you're like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You know,
Why not?
why not? Like,
Do you think have you noticed, I haven't really, and I'm just asking you, so when you were like a beginner, now you've been doing it a while, do you feel like you've taken anyone like under your wing of like a new person or a new friend, or like like have you pushed somebody to do more?
well,
Like Claire kind of pushed you, so like have you?
I think Stacy's my girl.
Yeah.
Stacy, I think, has been doing CrossFit for a long time, but I don't think she thinks she's as strong as she is, and she knows this. We talk about it. She doesn't think she's as strong and as capable or whatever. So on lifting days, she'll be like, "I'm lifting with you," and then she'll ask, like, "What are you doing?" And I'll say it, and she'll say, like, "I can't do it," and then I'm like, "You can
She'll
do
be like,
it."
oh well, then I'll go lift with these people, and I'm like, get back over there,
Yeah,
Karen.
yeah. Okay, so I have to tell a story about that though. So definitely Stacy. But then she'll like for every workout, she's like, "What weight are you doing?" And then she'll basically do the same thing. And
Yeah.
I know she can do that or more. Like she's very strong. Um, One of the first times I ever front squatted, we were at the other gym. Margaret was pregnant. She was paired up with Claire. I didn't know them. And I was like, "Can I front squat with you guys?" And they were like, "Yeah." "Have you ever front squatted before?" I was like, "No." They were so nice to me.
They're like, yeah, we'll just change some weights.
I did not know who they were.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
now I know. I was like, "Oh."
I mean, but that's the cool thing though, is like they weren't like, no, we're too good for you. They're like, sure, like, and then we'll just add weight and take weight off and whatever. And like that's, I mean, that really is how it should be. Of like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're gonna squat more and I'm gonna squat less. I have to go find somebody else, right? Like
Right.
Stacy asking you, oh, what can I squat with you? And then what weight are you doing? It's like that doesn't matter. Like really, I mean, it should like she should use it to help push herself. But really, like if she didn't want to squat that, like just take some weight off, squat, and
Right.
and that way y'all can still hang out and like chat during, And I think that's obviously what Claire and Margaret did that day as well. And we used to have a lot less spots, so it's like you almost had to partner up with
Oh, yeah.
people, whether it was the same weight or not, and figure it out from there.
But
yeah,
definitely Stacy. And
I remember when Stacy came in, her first, I think it was like her first week, she dropped in and then she kind of disappeared and then she came back. And then I chatted with her like later down the road and she was like, y'all just have so many strong females here. Like I've never seen that before at a CrossFit gym. And I was like, hell yeah, that's an awesome comment. I was like, but I think you're pretty strong too.
Yeah.
Like you just haven't you haven't found that level yet. Like you've told yourself you're not strong, but
Yeah.
really like there's a lot of these ladies in here you could probably lift with and work out with,
Mhm.
and you just haven't had that nudge or that person to like grab onto you and be like, hey, come do this with me.
Mhm. Yeah, she's strong, and I see her. She's gonna be growing.
Yeah. And I think
Oh.
she already has since she's been here.
You know who I really used to like working out with was Christy.
Christopher Vada.
Yep,
Yeah.
on deadlift day and squat
Yeah.
day, like we'd be in the back corner at the old gym. Like she was my favorite because she would just keep adding weight. She's like, "Just keep adding weight." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. She
Like,
has
that's
no
what-
idea what she's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't know what number it is, but let's go."
Let's go. Yeah. Oh, Christy.
Oh,
She's
Christy.
she's an awesome. Have you still followed her and talked to
Yeah,
her? And,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
her story is awesome. I
Her
remember-
running is amazing.
Yep. It's funny because all this stuff that she's doing now, which shout out to Christy. I told her for years, like, hey, these are things that you need to, because she did like to lift. And I'm like,
Right.
I know you like to lift, but
You
like
have to do the things you
need
don't
some
wanna do.
cardio, you need some nutrition. And she finally did it. And then like we still chat pretty regularly. And it's just been really cool to see her journey. And then now how she's influencing other people around her
Mhm.
to do the same thing. And that's pretty cool
Yeah.
to just see that like, hey, she had this impact. And even though she's not here, she's still making an impact somewhere else and taking it with her.
She's a
So
good
that's
person.
been cool. Yeah. And that's
You hear
there
that,
go,
Rob?
man. Hell
Wow,
yeah.
that's loud out there.
There you go.
Okay, so speaking of loud,
Yeah.
you are grunting when you lift. Do you do you say up? Is it up? It's very
Oh.
unique. Like if I were to walk into the gym and I heard people like doing their
Yeah.
lifts, like I would be like, oh, that was Cam.
I'd have to do it to tell you. I think it's different for every lift too.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've since the beginning of it's extra Rob.
It is extra round.
Uh, I've just it's because I'm like bracing and holding, but I like an exhale comes out, but then there's like there's noise to it.
Okay.
I don't know. But then there is sometimes like this frustration of like I know I can hit this, so I'm kind of like just letting that out as well.
Okay.
But it's probably something like up or like I don't know, like a cue to myself of like remembering. I don't know. I
It's
do.
something.
When
It's
I
a
am
really
working out
specific
hard,
sound.
there's definitely and I don't and people like I think Brittany took a video of me one day lifting and like posted it and I was like whatever like it doesn't bother me because it's like it is what it is and like hey I'm working hard like
Yeah.
you know like that's what's coming out but yeah I couldn't tell you without actually going and grabbing a barbell and doing it right now.
I haven't grunted much, but I have a very I have a memory from the old gym. It was the open and we had to do something and then end with a thruster. And you were loading my bar. And
I think I know this story.
remember you were like, do you trust me? And I was like, yeah, whatever, just put it on. So you put the weight on, and then I like grunted so loud, and Tay was like, Karen, I didn't know you had that in you. I was like, me neither. Like
Yeah.
it was so loud. I was like, what?
The effort coming out.
Yeah, so that was the very first time that I ever heard that guttural
Yeah.
sound. And then when we did bench press 1 rep just recently, it happened again. I was like, whoa, there it is again.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. Yeah. I mean, I think if you are pushing yourself, like, so, like, not that everyone does it, but like, it will happen. And I think that's a cool part too of like, we as coaches or even people in the community will know if you're actually like trying or like finding a 1 rep max because like something's going to come out. And then also like the first time someone cusses or something, like I've heard some just like F bombs be dropped from people I was not expecting, like after a lift or like just like just a primal type of like yell in the middle of a lift. And you're just like, hell yeah. Like that's what I'm looking for. Like that's the effort of like,
They have a button at some gyms, like, oh, sorry.
yeah, you're good.
Where you have to hit the button if people like grunt or
I don't know.
drop weights or
Drop
something.
weights, the yelling thing.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if you're not making noise, like I feel like you're probably tamed back a little bit. I don't know. I feel like we gotta get Nate involved here, but I feel like he's a good person to ask about this as far as like lifting because like I know sometimes Nate you like to lift with Claire and like you'll have your easier back off dates, but then there's days where you actually lift heavy and like you can just see a difference in Nate's like A, demeanor, but then B, like just the effort that's there and like it's also like I feel
Does
like
he make a noise?
I don't know if I don't think he's ever made a noise. No.
Like he's not making a noise
I don't
even
know.
right now. He's like,
But
I'm not.
it's the facial expressions. Like, have you ever seen the lifting face like memes and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Like, and you can just tell like when people are trying, like things just happen because you're so focused on everything else happening in your body.
Yeah.
That, like you're not just like chilling and like hanging out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I do make a noise and I do grunt when I'm lifting heavy.
I
And
get
then
it.
sometimes it's like a hype. It's a hype thing. It's like get that out of here. But yeah, that's that. You gotta get your husband in here.
Tell him, Scott. He's gonna
Scott,
watch. He's
Get in
gonna
here.
watch.
Ah, okay. Scott, you gotta get in here. Oh, this is what I was talking to Tay about this last night though. Like, I don't understand because this Bring a Friend week has been crazy. We were talking about that before we started this. Like, I think I printed off like 20 waivers, and like the next day I had to go print off 20 more waivers, which has been cool. Yeah, no, I think I counted earlier, and we have I think like 36 or 38 people have come in, just in the last couple of days, new faces. But people, if you're watching this, like you don't have to only invite friends on Bring a Friend week. Like they get a free drop in and like we'll work with them and like they can come whenever. Like it doesn't have to be Bring a Friend week. And we do like Bring a Friend week because obviously it's
free.
Yeah. But yeah, this one's been a little wild. Like last night we had 5 coaches coaching 1 class because Ilcia brought a group of her friends, Melissa brought a group of her friends, and then like there was like 1 or 2 other people that had come back. So I think we had like a close to a 20-person class, but like 12 of them, if not more, were like like newbie CrossFitters.
That's a lot for one coach.
And with like yesterday. So, but that's how the afternoons have been lately. And which has been cool. And so, all the coaches have done a really good job of like hanging out and like helping out. And I was there last night to help out as well. And it was cool to see the coaches bouncing back and forth from group to group to group to help all these people too. And then we all kind of stood back once the workout got started. And I was like, well, hopefully 6:30 might look like this for a little while. Like we might need 2 coaches or whatever, because
Yeah.
like, if these people actually do like this, which it seems like they do, and they do sign up, like this is the time they're
It's
going to
gonna
come
be-
to, and
yeah.
like, this is what we're going to have to figure out. So it's been an interesting week in a good way. And it started like getting me thinking about like, okay, like, if these leads turn into something, which hopefully they do,
You're gonna
then,
need more
like,
coaches.
Yeah. Are you ready? Are you
Uh,
coming in?
When John Darling, when he was talking about how obsessed he was,
Yeah.
when I first started here, I was so obsessed. When 7 o'clock would roll around and Sugar Wad would update, like I would be just like him on YouTube, looking up everything. And I found the L1 somewhere, and I
Yeah.
listened to it like within the first month of like, oh, like I was obsessed, just like he was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a long way to go.
Do you?
I feel like
You
it.
think you do?
I think I do.
Why do you say that?
There's just so much I don't even know. Like today, I learned how to get the
The band.
get the band off of a high leg. I learned you just gotta wiggle it
Do you?
just
So
a little bit. Okay, hold on. Let
do
me.
you think there's things you need to become a coach? Like you have
I
to.
think you.
Okay.
I need to be able to look at you and know what you're doing wrong. Like I thought I hip hopped when I was doing my
tutoring?
tutoring,
Yeah.
but I was not hip hopping. And you're like, yeah, no, you're not. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but it's like we had an episode about this though, about like the levels, right? And the level 1 is just an introduction to being a coach, and until you take that, you're not really going to be prepared to be a coach.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think that is a misconception. Just like people are like, I got to go get in shape to do CrossFit. And it's like until you start doing CrossFit, you're not going to get in CrossFit shape, and like there's no way to get prepared for it until you do it. So it's like
Right.
really, I would say, if you wanted to coach, it comes down to like, is it something you think you want to do? Okay, now I do need to go take the level 1 to be introduced to this. And then even then, like we don't just throw you in and go like, here's a class. Like you're gonna start learning and listening, but like you really, until you're in charge, like you're not gonna go out there and like try to coach Amy
50.
or Tina or like even like watch them and you know what I mean? Unless it's like something you want to do. So there's not really like you have to be at a certain level to like be a coach.
Mhm.
And I think the really cool thing too about the level 1 is like it's you could have never done CrossFit and go take the level 1, and you're going to learn everything you need to know if you actually pay attention and focus to start coaching. So the fact that you have done CrossFit for 3 years is like you probably know more than you think. And even some of the people that we've had recently go take the course have come back, like David recently, right? Told me he wanted to coach. Cool. Hey, let's get you signed up for level 1 and like let's figure that out. Because he fits kind of the vibe that we're looking for from our coaches.
Right.
And he came back and was like, I feel like I learned, but not like it was a lot of stuff I've heard. Like we coach
Yeah. Stuff we already knew.
using stuff that like they teach you. So it's like what you should do, I think, when you're being a CrossFit coach. So it's not like you probably know more than you think you know.
Yeah.
And then like you move pretty well and you understand a lot of those things as well. So
I definitely feel like I notice certain things. Like if someone's like, well, my wrist hurt when I'm doing that, like the front rack stuff, like,
Yeah.
well, you're holding it rather than like actually resting it here.
You're
Like I
already a coach.
notice some
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
do you think so? I actually got this an email yesterday, I think, from someone that was looking to drop in. But she was asking if there were specific times that we had females coaching. Do you think there's a preference, or like would you, I'm trying to ask from a female perspective, like is that an important thing for not necessarily you, but do you think other people care about that, or do you think it's just literally like
That one person.
that's okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel, but I don't.
Yeah. I didn't know if people like, the only thing that I would like a specific coach for would be like if we could figure out how to get a coach that could speak fluent Spanish.
Oh, for sure.
And we could do like a
Christy.
Spanish speaking. Yeah, we actually talked about her when she was still here. Before
Really?
she went up there. I was gonna get her L1, and we were gonna do a Spanish speaking class. And,
Yeah.
And again, Christy's a good example of like you like, not that she's not fit, but like she doesn't have any more experience than you,
Right. Right.
right? But she was like, yeah, I'll do it. And like, I mean, it would have been a co-coaching type of thing where I would coach, then she would translate until she got more comfortable with it. But I think that's a big population that we could hit around here.
Yeah.
Because we do get a lot of people that want to drop in. I've talked to Oscar about it, but I don't know if I can take Oscar serious enough to be a coach. He says he would do it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would hate to be not here while that class was going on and see what would happen.
No, I don't think it matters, male, female.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it's as long as you're coaching me, telling me to do something. Like I want somebody to say something almost every time. Like,
Yeah.
just say one thing.
Just coach me.
You know, tell me one thing because
Tell
I
me
know
I'm wrong.
I know it's wrong. Because I swear it must have been Logan who said, "If you can strict press more than you can jerk, you're doing it wrong." And I was like,
That's fair. That is a fair
Oh.
statement.
but you know, I need one thing every day.
Yeah.
every time we do it, you
We
know,
get better.
we get better. I'm gonna look
Do
at my
you-
notes
I was gonna say, do you have any other questions?
because
Nate?
I
You
feel
got
like I wrote
anything?
a few things. I just want to make sure. I feel like we talked about them all.
Any questions over there from? You usually got something, man. Come on. You do still come to 5:30 a.m. sometimes.
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 Usually on a Monday.
Yeah.
We
Or
were-
maybe that's why I feel like you go to 5 because I usually only coach Monday 5:30 a.m. So I just see you there more often.
We were talking about tricks of the gym. It took me probably a year before I learned that if the plates are stuck when they're stacked, that you just kick it. Like I think there's little tricks,
The upward
tricks and
kick?
tips.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you're loading your barbell to like put them on change plates,
Yeah.
and then you can like easily get them off.
Yeah.
And so those are things like you were asking, like to take people under wing. Like those are the little things I try to pass on. Like
Yeah.
put some plates on.
Let me
today.
show you how to
Like,
make this
yeah,
easier.
Like are there
Yeah.
other tips and tricks other than
That's
those?
my-
Like the wiggle it that I learned today. I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Like,
Like
look at that.
2
Just
years
wiggle the
later.
band and it'll come down.
I've been jumping.
Hanging from the rig, trying to get a band down. No, that is a bring a friend week thing that happened yesterday. Like people just struggling to put like 10 pounds on the bar, like a 10-pound plate. And I like to kind of joke with them and encourage, and like, yeah, you got it, come on, you can do it. And then I'll go over and I'll be like, look, if you just like from the middle of the plate, it slides instead of like everyone wants to use like the edge,
yeah.
and it's like they're prying the plate, and now it's wedged itself and it's not sliding. And it's
Yeah.
like just push from like the middle of the plate, you know. But it's those things that like we've done long enough that like I don't think about it anymore when I do it. So yeah, there are things, little tricks and tips of like how to load a bar better for your back. Like stand over the bar, don't stand in front of it and try to like put a plate on, you know, and things like that. And it's like trying to catch people when they're doing it to show it to them.
You
like
showed me how to move the bikes one day.
yeah, that's a big one. Oh, that
Like 2.5 years.
is my gears.
I was like, wow, 2.5 years. I finally know how to move this bike the right way.
If y'all want to make me mad, drag a bike across the room and don't do it right.
Drag it, I just
I
don't know
know.
how to,
You
like,
just like use
get
the
it
back
up.
of it.
Yeah.
No, another one I just showed one of our members was like how to get the strap on the rower off her foot. She was trying to like feed the thing,
Oh.
and I was like, if you just like pull your toe up and like hit the little, but the amount of like people that like struggle with those straps, or like tighten it down too much, or like the heel cup on the rower, and it's just like there's all these little things that like it's just, and you really only need to be shown once,
Right.
But you know, I could probably go through a list. I think Ronnie left a comment, or maybe he texted me about like some like the hidden, not the hidden, like there's like hidden things in baseball, or like the
rules, like unknown,
the
unspoken.
unknown, the unspoken things. And he was like, are there any unspoken things of like the gym? And I
I
was
would
like,
say the numbers on the plate, like when you put the little change plates, like they all have to face out. The
Yeah,
numbers, like if you put
okay.
it the wrong way, like someone did it wrong the other day. I wish I could think of who it was. And we were like,
they were like
"Are you-"
facing in.
Yeah, but we were like, are you new? Like, what are you doing? And that lift, like, that's not even worth it. Like, what are you doing?
Like, don't even lift that one.
Don't even do that.
Yeah, the numbers out is kind of like on the metal plates.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of some because he had texted some that I was like, yeah, that's true. One of my big, like, I don't like when people start cleaning up before the workout's over. Like, I want everyone to be done before we start cleaning up. That's kind of like an unspoken, like, you know, like you should be either resting, stretching, or cheering somebody on, but like don't start putting your stuff away if someone's still going hard.
Okay.
I would say, golly, I literally just brought this up because you brought up like the tricks thing.
Yeah,
I came prepared with a little bit more of a
I can't think of any other ones. The plate.
sharing a pull-up bar. That's probably one of my big grinding things. Like people are like, this is my pull-up bar, and it's like, no, like we can all figure out where to go. Like I don't, like when we work out, and I know, yes, I do own the gym, but it's just I've been doing it long enough. They're like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't care. Like y'all figure out where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like I'll just find a pull-up bar. Like basically by the time we get in this workout, like we're gonna be at different times at the pull-up bar, so like let's
It
just
won't matter.
hop up there anyway. So yeah, like not trying to like claim spaces or like spots, because like really all should be able to use a lot of this stuff.
No rings on the rig. I didn't know that. That was one that.
Oh, that's more of a safety thing. It does beat up the coating on a lot of the pull-up bars, but if you've ever looked up or heard of degloving, it is a thing that can happen. And it seems like, how would that happen until it happens?
What is it?
somebody? When a metal ring gets caught on something and ripped off, and it pulls the skin with it. So that's why we say no metal rings,
Ugh.
because it can happen on, like, knurling on a barbell, like, could be weird. Or if there is a chip on a pull-up bar and you drop and a piece of metal gets caught right there, your body weight's coming down and that metal's staying up there, and it's not going to go well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
fun.
Ah.
That's like-
A lot of things can happen, and it's like, how would that happen? And it's like, and that's why, like, the rubber rings became a thing.
No, I've been wearing those, but last year we went to the beach and I was in the water and it just like washed off with the waves, and I just haven't bought another one.
I have like
but-
3 packs of, and I end up, every time I lose this
They
one, I
stretch.
put another one on, and then I find this one. But yeah, these will, if they get caught, they will actually break off. And I have a friend who's actually broken like 2 or 3 working out. So it's like,
Okay.
if he had a metal ring on, it probably would have not gone well.
Degloving.
Degloving is what
Okay.
it's called. Yeah.
Yikes.
Because if you think about your hand being a glove,
Yeah.
and you deglove it, so it'd be the skin getting
Mm.
pulled off. Yeah. So yeah, no rings is ideal, and you can usually tell as soon as someone jumps on the rig, you hear a little cling, and it's like, hey, let's go take that off.
Yeah.
Because you like your fingers, I'm assuming, and you don't want to lose them.
That is true.
But we'll have to think of some other tips and tricks or things. But
Sounds good.
that's a good one. I think that's about it, unless anyone's got anything else. But yeah, your
I'm
journey
good.
here, we're doing it. We're getting that
We're
knee
doing
back.
it.
We're
We're
getting
doing
carrying back to 100%, 110%. We're going past 100%.
Let's go.
All right, Nate, close her down.
All right, everyone. That's been another episode of Off the Rails. We do appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. And also do all 3 of those things, as it helps the channel out as well. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in next week's episode of Off the Rails.